you suffering from allergies, then listen up because I've got a lot of good information for you. I'm a longtime allergy sufferer. I'm also a yoga teacher and a wellness coach, and these are just a compilation of all the things that I've learned. I'm Cindy Wargo. Here we go. So what I wanted to talk about is how there are so many different ways of minimizing your pollen, because pollen is really obviously the thing that is causing us all to have lots of allergies. So things that you can do to minimize pollen are to make sure you don't open your windows. Obviously, when you see that green stuff all over your car, if you're opening your windows, then all of it's coming in. So not in your car and not in your house, especially in your bedroom, because at night, you also want to bathe and wash your hair every night if you can wash your hair. And if you can't wash your hair, wear a cap, wear a nightcap. I mean, just like back in the day, yeah, do that. Because when we're sleeping is the time that our body restores. That is the time where we are able to fight the pollen, where we are able to kind of regenerate after a long day of fighting pollen. And remember, pollen does act like an invader in your body, which is why you often feel like you have like a low-grade cold or something going on where you're just not feeling your best. Another thing you want to do is wash out your nose. So you use a neti pot, you use saline wash, you can use the spray. Neti pot is just like it sounds. You just put some distilled water with salt and a little bit of baking powder, and you let it run through your nose both sides, and that helps to clean out your sinuses. Make sure after you do neti, you also do nasya, which is an oiling of the nose. Otherwise, your nose gets really irritated just because it's so dry from washing it out with saline. Also, you want to wash your face after being outside, if at all possible. So when it's just during the day and you've been out and you come back in, wash. Make sure you scrub your eyebrows because that's another place that pollen can get caught. Also, eyelashes, especially if you are like me and get itchy eyes. So also, if you can avoid morning pollen, because morning pollen is much more thick. It's the part per million is a lot higher. Let someone else do the lawn, to do the yard work, and try to minimize your time outside if at all possible. And if you are outside, wear your sunglasses, because sunglasses are going to keep the pollen from getting so much in your eyes. You can also wear a mask. I mean, we all have masks from the pandemic, so you can put a mask over your face, and that allows you to be outside for longer, more comfortably. Also, keep your pets that spend a lot of time outside out of your bed, especially if they're trying to sleep around your head. Again, going back to keeping your bedroom the sanctuary, because that's when you're going to restore and feel better at night. Change your clothes after you've been outside. So again, if you've been outside for a really long time, if you've been running, or if you have been doing yard work, changing your clothes is just going to minimize the pollen, and it's going to keep the pollen from getting all over the areas that you usually spend time in, like your couch. If you have a HEPA filter in your house or in your vacuum, those are really great ways to keep the pollen out. And if you can avoid eating al fresco, I mean, eating outside, you're just, again, more time outside, more pollen coming in, usually getting on your food, and then you're ingesting it. So anything you can do to reduce pollen is what you want to do. Also, reducing your exposure to known allergens. So if you are allergic to a lot of other things, your reaction to pollen may be greater. So when you reduce your exposure to other known allergens, then that is only going to help you. So if you know you're allergic to gluten, don't eat extra gluten during allergy season, because everything is going to be worse. And the reason for this is something called the bucket theory of allergens. So sorry for this very rudimentary bucket, but this is my best PowerPoint skills. So if you're allergic to pet dander, that goes into the bucket. If you're also allergic to mold, put that in the bucket. Strawberries, wheat gluten, dust. So when you get to the very top of your bucket and you've filled up with all of these things, this is how much your body can handle. So once you have reached your maximum limit of all the allergens that your body can handle, then you start to overflow. And so you just add the tree and grass pollen on top of it, and you start to overflow. And when you overflow, your body can't handle it anymore. This is when you become symptomatic. So you're just going to keep reducing any known allergens. Other ways that you can do, or other things that you can do to help with getting through allergy season is boost your immunity and reduce your allergy response. So get a little more rest. I know it's not fun or glamorous, but if you rest more, your body restores more. Restorative yoga is a great way to do it. I have a copy of a restorative practice on my website, on my YouTube site, so please go there and you can practice. Also build ojas. Ojas is our primal vigor, and it can be built by doing things like rest and relaxation, also some breathing practices and certain kinds of foods. I can get into that in another video. Doing some self-massage or going to get a massage, again, that just is going to help your body's immune response. It's going to help you to stay relaxed. There's some things you can change with your diet. Some supplements you can take, you can look into those, and acupressure, acupuncture points, there's some asana, there's some pranayama, all of these things can help. So for your diet and supplements, plenty of water, bioflavonoid rich foods, those are your berries this time of year. Anything that's astringent, pungent, bitter, those kinds of things, anything you find at the farmer's market are going to fit into these categories. So look for that. Minimize your gluten, again, if you're sensitive. Also avoiding fat, sugar, dairy, fried foods, anything heavy or rich, because those things tend to produce extra congestion, extra water in your sinuses. So they're not going to be your friends this time of year. And then here are a few other things that you can add. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen, which means it's going to help you with your stress response, which is what's happening when your body's under allergy response. Add some vitamin D, some vitamin C, echinacea, golden seal, garlic, ginger tea, turmeric, all of those things are just supplements you can take. And you can look, there's all kinds of sources on things, ways you can find those things and what dosages you should take for yourself. But those are all things you could do. Now, acupressure is really handy for alleviating some of your symptoms, or at least getting the congestion moving. So the 4 gates are going to help you calm your nervous system. So there's one gate here in this side, and then the other 2, that's 1, 2. And then you have that same idea in your foot. So here's one, and then on the other foot, that's your 4th one. And you just press on those. Acupressure, just like it sounds, you're going to press. And this is all based on traditional Chinese medicine, where you would have acupuncture done, and we're just pressing to open up those energy pathways. So those are the 4 gates. Gallbladder 20 can help you to relieve head congestion, and that's located in the very back of your skull. So if you trace up from your neck and find the back of your skull, there's usually a couple of little indentation points on either side of those strong neck muscles right next to your spine. And if you press here, that can start to help alleviate some of the head congestion. Also, another one that helps to relieve head congestion is the very crown of your head. So usually you have tender spots where you need acupressure done. So if you're not sure exactly where the top of your head is, you can just kind of press around on the top, and usually you'll find that tender spot, especially if you need this one. Another way you could find it is heel of the hand right between the eyebrows, and then stretch your middle finger back, and that's usually going to be the place that you can press for head congestion. Also, severity of your allergic reactions. So for that one, it is going to be in the crook of the elbow. So just kind of right in between those 2 big muscles, right? Let me show you. So the elbow forward, right in between the muscles. And again, it's going to be tender if you need this one. And this is when you're having that sneezing fit, when your eyes are watering or itching beyond control. That's when you can go for that acupressure point. And then finally, your large intestine 20 clears your nose, and that is located just outside the outer nostrils towards your cheekbones. So you'll kind of press out, and you can find the edge of your cheekbone and then just press there. And again, that one is going to really start to get the nose clearing. So you can keep pressing here and just take some deep breaths if you can through your nose, and if you can't, breathe in and out of the mouth, and soon you'll feel that release happening. Also, Ayurveda and yoga. So, Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. If you do things in your practices that increase your digestion, you know, your twist, your ab work, reduce kapha. Kapha is an Ayurvedic term for a lot of earth and water energy. So you do that by doing the opposite. So you balance kapha with the opposite. So anything that's more heating or vigorous is going to start moving that earth water element in your body. You can relieve your sinuses with some inversions or supported forward bends, boost immunity and your energy with some restorative poses. Again, check out that other video. Kapalabhati or Bhastrika, that's a certain kind of pranayama where you're breathing in and out of the nose quickly. I'm not going to get into it here. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how to do Kapalabhati or Bhastrika. Also, Nadi Shodhana, which is a certain way that you breathe with alternate nostril breathing, or simple meditation on your navel center. Again, trying to increase your digestion because it's this kind of time of year where our digestion starts to get a little more sluggish. And when our digestion is sluggish, then we start to have symptoms such as congestion, among other things. So those are just some things that you can do to help yourself get through allergy season. And if you have extra tips or things that I didn't mention, then please feel free to send a comment or leave one in the notes. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope that this helps. I hope you find it helpful. These are the things that I do personally, and it really has helped. I don't like having to be inside when everybody else is enjoying outside, and you know, I'll take my allergy med and head on out anyway, and sometimes I still suffer, but I suffer a whole lot less than I used to, and I think these things will help you too. Thanks.